get this guy, or, oh, okay, just scare him into the water. Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to Splatoon, featuring the most realistic trash can stomping sound effects. Today we're going to check out a new weapon from Sheldon's Picks Vol.2, but if you missed any of my 2.8 coverage so far, there'll be a link at the top of the description where you can check out the Aerospray PG, the Sploosh-O-Matic 7, as well as all the changes that happened with the big update. Today we are trying out the N-Zap 83, another one I'm excited for. We're going to take it into battle and see how it does with some splat zones. So even though this is a shooter weapon, we're going to be playing very differently from the last few episodes, not just because the tower and the Rainmaker are nowhere to be found, but this set has a bit more range than the Sploosh-O-Matic and the Aerospray, so hanging back a little bit is good. You can play pretty aggressive with it though, because we have these point sensors, which of course zone in on your buddies here, your enemies, and take them out. There we go. So yeah, so much easier, especially for someone with bad aim like myself, to zero in on your opponents when they're being tracked. And of course, it helps out the whole team. So even if I can't find them and hit them, somebody will, and they'll take them out. So very good sub-weapon. Only uses 40% of your ink tank, just like the burst bomb. So you can throw them out, still have a good amount of ink left over. And if we can charge up enough, we have our Kraken to help hunt down these Inklings, or, you know, just get out of a bad situation. Using those point sensors probably helps with zeroing in on your enemies and taking them out with the Kraken as well. And speaking of getting out of a bad situation, I'm out of here. Sometimes you gotta know when to go back to spawn. Hopefully we can get that zone back. So yeah, the range on this thing is much better than some of the shooters. It does not fire quite as fast, but it does do more damage. So if you're hanging back, you'll probably be able to take someone out, like so, before they can really get to you. And I like the N-Zaps a lot. I need to get more practice with them, but they did get a few different buffs. The last patch, they fire off bigger globs and more focused, I think, in the air when you're jumping, so that's nice. We're gonna get this guy, or, oh, okay, just scare him into the water. That works too, doesn't count as a splat for me, but I'll take it as one. All right, helps out the team, that's what matters. And that's kind of how I think I'm going to try to play this set. A little bit of support-based. Whoa, we're getting out of here again. Should have let that Kraken help me out, though. He was after that guy. But yeah, I'm going to try to be a little bit more support-based, throw in those point sensors this way and that to help out everybody tracking people. So the point sensors did get that nerf not too long ago. A bunch of the tracking sub and specials did. It used to be 10 seconds that it tracked without cold-blooded, and 2.5 if they had cold-blooded. And here they are. I tracked them. There we go. Zero in for the kill. But now the point sensors track for 8 seconds without cold-blooded and only 2 seconds if they have cold-blooded. But still pretty good. You can find them, and like I mentioned, they don't use much ink, so here I go. Just, here I go, sensing again. We're just going to throw them all over the place. I have that problem that I always mention where I throw my sub-weapon out too much, but this is one where you really want to just, you know, throw it out there. The N-Zap doesn't use that much ink, so like I mentioned, it's worth throwing them down. And oh jeez, at least I helped that brush out. I think he was gonna have a problem getting close enough to take him out, but we traded there a little bit. Oh no, they're coming back. They got a while to go though. They got 41, so I think we can do this. We still have a bunch as well. This is a pretty close match. Museum, very very popular to show up in splat zones. I know people complain a little bit. At least I've seen that the museum is always on the splat zones rotation. There are certain maps that they don't seem to do splat zones as much anymore, or different modes. Tower control on Salt Spray, for example, you almost never see that. But it looks like the museum is the developer's favorite splat zones map in terms of balance. It does feel pretty balanced. You got this ledge area to hide in. You got a Kraken to hunt down children. There we go. That did not sound right. Sorry for that weird voice. All right, we're gonna try to hold this side area. The ink coverage, the sensors, the Kraken, I like everything about this. And the design. We're gonna wait until we get into another battle and I have a little more time to talk about it, but there is a nice Easter egg about the design, and I'll talk about that. Last time we talked about the secret Gundam origin of the PG, MG, and RG acronyms for the Aerospray. airbrush cans. Okay, can we do this? This is so close, but we have the lead by 1 point. We just gotta lock this down. Can we do it? I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. Oh, jeez. They got splatted, but it's all right. It's all right. We still have 3 teammates, or 2 teammates. It wasn't me. Okay. Just gonna keep tracking them. Gonna keep tracking them and let my buddies do that doity woik. Or I can do it too. If I can find them. There they go. Ooh, almost. Somebody got him. All right. It'd be cool if they, in the sequel, they show like supports, like if you helped out, if you hit somebody with ink before they were splatted, to kind of know that you're still doing okay, even if you don't get those sploops. I mean, splats. Don't want those sploops. I'm gonna eat that suction bomb and finish up with a nice splat. We got it. All right. So we'll head into another battle here. The other map is Port Mackerel, and I think this is a good set for that as well. The run speed is pretty good, especially with the gear that I'm wearing, to strafe around those shipping containers and get some splats there as well. All right, let's go for another one. Okay, back on the museum here. We'll get one on Port Mackerel before we finish. We have the Korokoro yellow, the color that keeps popping up and won't go away, but I like it. Okay. So the N-Zap 83, I wanted to mention, you guys probably know about the other N-Zaps. The 85 is the original Zapper design, or I shouldn't say original, actually. The original Zapper design for playing Duck Hunt and Wild Gunman and stuff was a 6-shooter revolver that looked way too realistic, so that was the original Japanese one. They definitely changed it pretty quickly there for when they re-released it and when it came over to America. But the 85, the gray Zapper, is the one that came out when the NES launched, and I think it was bundled with it a lot of the time, with like Rob and stuff like that. And I never had that one. By the time we got an NES in my house, my sisters wanted one, we got the 89 version, the orange Zapper, and that's the iconic one that I always remember. That way, they wanted to make sure, even with the more cartoony 85 N-Zap design, they wanted to make sure it really didn't look like a gun, so they changed it to orange instead of the gray. But yeah, so you guys, those are the origins of those ones. But the 83 is this weird Zapper that doesn't really exist in the real world. But I like, it's almost like Sheldon is this, he's this pack rat that takes stuff from the junkyard or found in the oceans and turns it into something new. Because he's making all these cool weapons and taking them from old blueprints and stuff like that. So it makes sense. The 83 is made out of an old Famicom controller and probably parts from the system as well. The Famicom is the original NES that came out in Japan. The Nintendo Entertainment System over in other regions couldn't quite get that splat on the ledge. Sometimes I get splatted that way, so I figured it was worth a try. So yeah, the 83 has that cool kind of gold and red or red. It reminds me of the Earthbound games, the Mother games, how they have that kind of color scheme to them as well. And it's got a cool look to it, and you can even see the buttons on the side of the gun barrel and whatever that, the handle or whatever that has the old Famicom buttons. And the cool thing is, though, this is actually one of the original old Famicom controllers because it has the square buttons that were really squishy. They were bad, they kept getting stuck, and they wouldn't really press well. So they changed them to the hard, round buttons that we're used to that eventually was on the NES system as well. The original Famicom kind of had the buttons like the start and select that are a little more rubbery, that would be on like a remote control or something. So they changed it, but it's funny that Sheldon is using this, there we go, this kind of rare version of a Famicom controller, something that would be a really nice collector's item for lots of people, but he just turned it into a gun. He's selling it, he packaged it, he's throwing it out to kids everywhere. Okay, there you go. There's a little history lesson for this weapon, and we're gonna jump on to Port Mackerel to finish up. Okay, good. Got Port Mackerel. It's always random, but usually if you stay with a group, you'll get the map that you want. When you've already played the other one, chances are I think it might be a little increased, or maybe it's just all in my head. Okay, this is a great strafing weapon, especially with these long corridors here. We have the range to kind of weave in and out of these and get a lot covered. This is a pretty good balance for a shooter, I must say, of range, firepower, and and all that good stuff. So I do like this one. I used to use the 89 quite a bit in Turf Wars, especially when the game was, you know, more new back a while back. There we go, strafing around their splash walls. I would use the 89 a lot. I liked that one because of the extra ink coverage. It had the same sub and special, or still does, of the ink brush, that sprinkler, and Inkzuka. And then the 85, I think, has the Splat bomb and the Echo Locator. That one probably would be a pretty good aggressive set as well. We're just gonna break this down and go right in. We might have this pretty quickly here. I got an aggressive team on my side. And I'm just gonna try to keep this locked down, throw some sensors all over the place, and make sure we're tracking everybody who's trying to sneak around up there. That's what I would do if I was in their position, is go around that way and try to get them. But yeah, so I don't know which of the N-Zaps is my favorite yet. We'll have to play with this one a little bit, but I am kind of leaning towards this one, not just because of the Kraken, but also I feel like I have a newly found respect for the point sensor as a nice support weapon. I might not have a ton of splats at the end of the battle, but if my team wins, you know, that's what matters. So I'm helping out my buddies. I'm a little worried next time when we try out the Grim Range Blaster if my aim is going to be up to snuff, but that set has that burst bomb to give you that extra little oomph that you need to take them down, even if you can't really aim as well. Plus it looks real cool. Okay, I think we got this one. They didn't even get it at all. That is all she wrote. Okay, this weapon's helping me get almost to S rank, and I'm a little worried. We're starting to get into the ones that I'm not going to do as well with, but for that, I might either do squad battles if I happen to get to S, or jump into private battles with you guys. I want to add some more of you here pretty soon, but I'll tweet out when that happens at SwimmingBird941. Get 100 new friends on there and start playing with you guys. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. Next time, more Sheldon's Picks Volume 2. I'll see you then for Splatoon. Goodbye.